Big Shot Bowling is brought to you by Duddy Ford, Route 9, Westboro. From economy to luxury, you'll find it at Duddy Ford. By Diamond Chevrolet, 520 Park Avenue in Worcester, where you always get a diamond of a deal. Big Shot Bowling is brought to you in conjunction with the World Candlepin Bowlers Congress. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Fouracre, along with Dan Murphy here on Big Shot Bowling. And as always, we'll be serving up 2 quality candlepin bowlers. Our defending champ, Jack Ray, is back, and he'll be taking on challenger Steve Vadney. And Dan Murphy, what about these 2 men?
Well, again, Jackie's out of the fire into the coals again, or vice versa. He's got a former New Hampshire state champion, Steve Vadney, twice running 2 years ago and 3 years ago. And he also has a 488 high triple, another alley record at Boutwell's Bowling Center in Concord. I get that plug in. And he's going to be a tough opponent for Jack. Jack's going to need a little more than he hit last week.
Let's take a close-up, first of all, on the challenger, Steve Vadney from Claremont, New Hampshire. Here's his form, and what are some of the stats?
Well, 129 average, which is a pretty hefty average up there in Sunapee Street, Sunset Lanes in Sunapee. Claremont it is. 48 high triple and 197 high single.
And he'll be going after a man who has been in the winner's circle a half dozen times over the last couple of years here on Big Shot Bowling, our defending champ, Jack Ray.
Well, Jackie Ray does everything he has to win. Last week he struggled a little bit, still hit 384 or 382 to beat Joe Donovan. He even mentioned himself he wasn't on the top of his game, wasn't on the head pin with that first ball like he'd like to be, but this week's another week, and like I said, I think it's going to be a high-scoring match. I think it's going to take 400 to win.
It's Steve Vadney against Jack Ray. The winner will be picking up a couple of $100, the runner-up 100, and the champ will get a shot at the 7-10 lead for the Thunderbird compliments of Duddy Ford. We'll be back with string number 1, but before we do, let's roll away for these messages. Bob Fouracre with Dan Murphy on Big Shot Bowling, and to get it underway is Steve Vadney. Steve Vadney taking on our champ, Jack Ray. Vadney, with an average of a 129, been bowling candlepins for 18 years. And he starts off with a 9 count. Steve joining us for the first time here on Big Shot Bowling. And he slaps down 8, has himself a spare leave, the 6 and the 10. There it is.
First mark, 6-10 covers it nicely.
Vadney with a spare in the second frame. Here's Jack Ray. Last week, Jack defeated Joe Donovan. Jack had a 3-string count of a 384. Joe a 352. Ooh, half Worcester left side. 2 in the 8. Jack with 6 down and 4 to go. 1 ball remaining in the first box.
Well, that's
a disappointing half dozen for Jack. Jack in his win over Joe Donovan last week had strings of 140 and then a couple of 122s. For a 3-string count, once again, of a 384. He mustered up 4 strikes and 9 spares. And he's hoping to grab his first spare right here. Jack's average of 123. There it is.
And both bowlers get their first mark up in that second frame. Both explosive bowlers.
Steve Vadney, hometown Claremont, New Hampshire. Ah, there's a good break. The 10 went down. Now look who's back, Captain PJ. My God, he flew away. Flew away for a couple of weeks. I'll tell you, that spear didn't fly away because Mr. Vadney made sure he lassoed it. Steve with a couple of spares. Loads it up with...
there. Oh, my. Well, he's got a shot.
Go post leave. We see that every week at the end of the show without the wood.
Well, he's got a shot here. Go right for the 10-pin. Flip that piece of wood, send it over, and take out the 7. Oh, he's too high. Oh!
Yeah, he still came out of it. All right. We want to see it again. A big smile on the face of Steve Vadney. He knew he missed it, but he didn't.
Well, there's 2 ways to make it. The right way and Steve's way.
And it was Steve's way that time. Here's Jack Ray.
1 and 8. 8, Phil.
Jack yelling, highway robbery. We went to the approach.
Jack shaking his head. Of course, that pin's supposed to go down after the first ball, that head pin. And that's what he's upset with himself about.
Still there. So Jack trailing it by 11. This is the first of 3 here on Big Shot Bowling. Jack in on the head, but too full, and he gets 4.
Trying to split the 3 and the 6. Almost.
Left the 3, and 3 more besides that. An 8 for Jack Ray. Steve is up by 11, and he's filling on a spare so he can add to that lead. And he adds 8 more, so he climbs up to a 19-pin advantage.
Oh, he's going to have to use the wood in front of the 4-pin. Hopefully the pin or the ball will... Oh, he's sliding by it. Just covered.
It's not the way he wanted it. And a 10 count. 72. After 5 for the challenger, Steve Vadney. He hammers down 9 and hoping to convert on the 7 for a spare.
Wide open shot at the 7-pin.
Oh!
Yes, covers it for another spare.
He gave a sigh of relief after that one. He snuck out a couple of spares. Here's Jack. Jack down by 21. Jack drops them all down for
10.
the strikey. Let's watch that strike again. The home run ball.
Looks like the 7's going to stay up here. Last minute, Wood swings over, knocks the 7 for the strike. Looking for a double. Never turned the ball over that time.
When a guy gets a triple here on Big Shot Bowling, who wins himself a trip for 2 to Atlantic City, compliments of Fresh Pond Travel. They're located in Natick, Massachusetts.
Disappointing 6, Phil, for Jack on the strike.
There's a 9. After 6. Vadney in the driver's seat.
Working on a spare. Oh, all of them. Nice ball.
That's the way you load up. He loaded them all into the spare for a strike. First strike for Steve. Both bowlers will be receiving trophies from George Girton Trophy Center. Their home base is Worcester, Massachusetts.
Also remind you, a few weeks ago, Pepsi Classic is coming up. Outwells Bowling Center in Concord. $2,250 added. February 1st. If you're not a bowler or you want to compete, most of the bowlers are pros, but we let anyone compete. They'll be going all day long from 10 a.m. Last shift goes off at 6:30, February 1st.
And first prize is 1,600 smackers.
$1,600. We thank Loudon Pepsi Cola for making this all possible over the years.
Jack Ray laboring right now. Jack, the defending champ.
Right now, the defending champ is down 35.
Jack's average this season, a 123. His best high at 220. Ooh, that's quality bowling. The 9. So we're down to the final 2 in the first game. Vadney on the plus side, of 118 to 183. Got it by 35. Now he's looking down at the 3, 6, and 10. Steve with a strike and 4 spares. Make it 5 spares.
Excellent candlepin bowling, and really a real fine gentleman too. Northwestern part of New Hampshire.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Steve is on fire.
No doubt about it. It's a quick one. Kingpin, last one to go. 148 plus 2 balls.
Let's see if he can strike out and win himself a trip to Atlantic City. Compliments of Fresh Pond Travel. No.
It's interesting. 189 left.
Looks like Steve is going to have the problem shot after this string.
157.
Not bad at all. Here's Jack. Pulls into the 9th with an 83. Punches out the half Worcester. There's no way to bowl when you're trailing by 35, but he didn't want to do that, I guarantee you. They're coming few and hard. Nice out of a 9. If there is such a thing as a nice out when you're down by a whole bunch.
It certainly is. Down by 46. He's opposite of strike 9, so he's going to lose a few more here.
What's the problem shot that Mr. Steve Vadney will be presented?
Oh, he's going to have to punch through the middle and leave the spread eagle. That's not a problem.
Well, not when you're bowling for real, it isn't. An 8, got a disappointing 100. So, Steve Vadney, as you can see, leads it by 57 after the first. We'll be back, and Steve will have the problem shot, and then we'll be lifting off the second string.
Okay, Steve Vadney has to punch out the spread eagle. Right through the middle. Nice try.
He was climbing in on that head pin.
Yeah, it was just starting to break back.
Had he punched it out, he would have won himself an AMA gift. Compliments of Six Gun Productions. The president of Six Gun Productions is John E. Liggums. So Jack Ray starts up the second, and he blows down 9, hoping to spare. In the first game, Jack had himself an even 100, a disappointing 100. 1 strike, 1 spare. Oh, my. And Steve Vadney in the first game, he had a quality 157, 2 strikes and 5 spares.
That was a lob.
Ah, that negates the strike. So he'll have to reset. And if he knocks them all down with this ball, he'll get himself a spare. Tough one for Jack.
That's the ball. Wow.
So there's the spare. Remember, he was called for the lob. Let's watch the replay.
Here's the replay of the second one.
Was that the first of the
That was the second.
You sure now?
Okay. Tony Zernig is sitting out. You can see the red line just out in front of the bowlers, and he answers with his own strike.
Yeah, Steve now has 3 strikes.
And the rule is the ball must come in contact, as you see the strike, with the approach or the lane prior to going past that lob line.
Steve was going for the double.
Nice try. Tried to split the 2 and the 4.
The man you're looking at has won a few championships here in the Granite State.
Very fine candlepin bowler.
Wasn't it a couple of years ago he defeated you for the championship for
Yes,
the state of New Hampshire?
That's correct.
Of course, you're a past champ up here, too.
Right.
We're down there, depending on where you're watching the show.
Yeah, that was quite a match that year. Steve went 15-30 in the 10-string head-to-head match.
And what did Dan Murphy have?
1490.
Not too bad at all.
No.
Jack with a couple of spares of this one.
Well, I'll tell you, that single pin Jack missed the first box of this string. Then he lobbed on a strike, came back with another strike, which was a spare. He very well could be a double strike and spare double strike and another spare right now.
Oh, 3 spares in a row. This is the second of 3 games between the champ Jack Ray and the man you're looking at, Steve Vadney. Vadney with a high single of a 197. His best 3. He once recorded a 488.
Yes, nice shot. Just clipped enough of that 7-pin to knock it down.
I want to watch that one again.
Played it on the inside. The ball just goes by it. One of the pins swings around, knocks down that 7. Steve throws a ball similar to Joe Donovan. It backs up, breaks from left, back to the right.
They're both a couple of silver foxes.
Maybe that's what happens. Start throwing screwballs there. Ball backs up. Not a normal break for a right-handed bowler.
There's a very healthy 10. 53 after 4 in the second. Here's Jack Ray. He's got a 57 plus a ball going. He leads by 4 in this string, but in the match he's down by 40 or 53.
Off the wall. Nice try.
Speaking of off the wall, there's the captain.
He's off more than one wall, huh?
He's been off a few in his landings. He loves candlepin bowling.
I don't know if this is a show that we have PJ at the opening or not, but it's a sight to behold. He takes this game of candlepin bowling seriously.
And Jack punches out the half wister on the left side. Jack Ray from Woburn, Mass.
And again, the lone king, the head pin right there, and that Jack is. He said last week he wasn't hitting the head pin good with that first ball. Again, this week he has his streaks, but he's not constantly or consistently, I should say, 90% of the time on that head pin with that first ball.
7 down, 3 to go for Steve. Steve works as an assembler when he's not bowling. And when he's not working as an assembler, he's bowling. 10 count. 63 at the midway point of the second for Vadney. All but the 6. Score that a spare. Spare number 7, along with 3 strikes for Vadney. Here in the second, after a half dozen for each guy, there's the scoreboard. We'll be back to close out string number 2, but first, let's roll away. Back to the action we come, and to get it rolling is Jack Ray. This juncture, Jack in a heap of trouble, but we still got a lot of bowling left.
Oh, there's a mess. 7, 9, and 10. Oh.
It's still a mess. It's still a mess. He did the right thing. Push the button.
Push the button. Reset the machine.
A 7 for Jack.
Well, he's going to mark out here. He's going to put a little pressure and give Steve something to think about. 5, 8.
Jack so far with a strike and 4 spares. He leads in this string, but he's trailing in the match by 46.
Oh.
And he's not pinning properly.
No, on his delivery, his ball is actually dropping a little bit behind him. He's not getting the good lift on the ball, which puts the spin on the ball, which makes the ball break. And he's playing the break, but the ball's sliding. It's not biting the lane and breaking for him. That's why he's leaving out to the right. Jack's ball normally breaks from right to left, and it's just not doing it.
Steve grabbing a few. A drop of 4.
Nice shot. Nice shot.
Superlative spare off the bowling of Steve Vadney. Steve with 8 spares and 3 strikes. Loads up the
6 spin to go, but doesn't.
Spare with a 7.
He's got a double wood behind the 6. Inside wood on the 6 pin. Left-hand tip. He'll snap it towards the other 2. Oh, it's going the other side. I really would have went toward that 6 pin. Hit it on the left, Steven. See him snap it that way. Well, it would have been close.
Down to the final 2 in the second game.
Oh, Jack's really struggling right now with that first ball.
He has lost it the last few boxes. Really lost it. Come on, Jack, you can do better than that.
Well, what happens here, as I mentioned before, if the ball's not breaking, then you want to really turn the ball over. And then what happens is the ball breaks too sharp on you. It's not your normal break.
A 5.
And when that starts, you start thinking, and it just throws everything off.
So Jack is down by 6 in the string, in the match, down by 63. There's a 9 and a total of a 112 for Jack Ray. He pumped it up by a dozen over his opening string of a even 100, but that's not where you want to be when you're against the likes of a Steve Vadney.
Gonna have to pump the next one up about 5 dozen over that one.
Yeah. Steve hoping to spare, going after the 3. the lonesome 3.
Well, Steve has already won the second game. His problem shot, one of the easier ones we have, he's going to have to knock down 6 pins and leave the 1, 2, 4, and 7. 4 horsemen to the left.
Eight on the spare. Yeah, and if Steve leaves the 1, 2, 4, and 7, he'll win himself an AMA gift. Oh, I thought he was going to get it on the kickback. I bet you did too, Dan.
No, I really didn't, Bob. Yeah, I thought he was too.
There's a 10 count. That's it in this game. Vadney again on the plus side. A 132. And after 2, he's got a humongous lead. 289 to a 212. We'll be back. Vadney will have the problem shot. He'll have to leave the 1, 2, 4, and 7, and then we'll crank out the third and final string. Well, there's the captain talking to Jack Ray, giving him some instructions. He's trailing it by 77. So here we go. Let's get the
Jack
action
thinks he
going.
needs a little more help here.
He needs glasses. That's what he thinks. PJ said, go ahead. And now to get it rolling is the man who's leading by 77.
Trying for the problem shot, leaving the 4 horsemen to the left, and no, and what day is it? Where are we? And what are we doing?
Well, I'll tell you, the captain was working. I guess he's the manager part-time for Jack Ray.
Yeah, Jack Ray's manager, yeah.
He's not doing too well. Assisting Mr. Ray. Ray trailing by 77, and here we go as we lift it off. What was that problem shot? Leave the 1, 2, 4, and 7.
Yeah, 1, 2, 4, and 7, and I got it written down on the other side. It's on this. Oh, never mind.
Hey!
Well, I'm anxious to see Jack get up and bowl those first 2 boxes and see if PJ, the instructions he gave him were any good. I may hire him myself as my manager.
You never know. I mean, wrestlers have managers. Boxers have managers. Steve with a 5 on the spare. Steve now with 10 spares and 3 strikes. His first string was a 157. His second, a 132.
Well, here we go, folks. Will the PJ lessons work?
Well, we're going to find out. I hear if
he looks back at PJ, and PJ gives him the, yeah.
Go to it. Jack knows he needs help. Lord, oh Lord, does he need help. Oh, PJ shaking his head. He's not satisfied with that shot.
Oh, mercy. There's PJ. Hey.
Jack gives him the thumbs up, and PJ gives him the thumb up. And there's the spare. The coach is happy. Look at him smiling.
That's a smile?
Well, whatever.
He's just concentrating. It's almost the same shot. This time he's going to knock down that 10 pin, though. Try to split the 2 and the 4. Look at this, huh?
Oh-ho! How about it? There's the high 5 over there between the manager and the bowler.
Nice shot by Jack.
Look at PJ. He's happy now. I'll tell you, Vadney's in a heap of trouble. Even though he leads
PJ
by
curse
77.
on him, I know. Nothing sacred here with PJ. Not even a 73-pin lead.
If Ray comes back and wins this, I'm sure there'll be a protest filed by Steve Vadney. However, one never knows what will happen on a protest. Steve Vadney from Claremont, New Hampshire.
Against Jack Ray and
from parts unknown.
And Captain PJ.
Yeah, he's bowling against both of them now.
2 and 5 for a spare. Watch out for that wood in between, Steve. Don't think you want to split them. Yes, he did. He covered. Nice shot.
11 spares along with 3 strikes for Steve. And here comes Jack Ray. Jack started up this string with a couple of spares. Oh, a 9 fill, hoping to spare up again.
Well, if he's going to miss it, he wants to miss it to the left. The wood could help him out. And that's what he does. Plays it to safe. Safe side.
Since the meeting of the minds between strings, well, it was the no-mind meeting between strings between Captain PJ and Jack Ray.
Little pep talk.
Little pep talk. 3 spares in a row. Jack was down, but he wasn't out. PJ, who just as part of the audience, wanted to, you know, give him some encouragement. That's all. Bring some life back in.
Steve Vadney is starting to move closer and closer to him. I noticed he's moving the chair over each time.
Yeah, he might want to get that
baby split. Look at that! In a row.
Wow! Wow! It's amazing.
Nice shot. 2 in the 7.
What a tandem those 2 guys make.
Whoa.
Vadney is on top of the pack. He came into the string leading by 77. Now the lead is down to 55.
55, and PJ's starting to count.
That he is.
Used up his fingers, and his shoes are coming off.
Once he starts on those toes, watch out.
1, 7, and 10 left for Steve.
Oh, nice, nice, nice try. And a 9 bucks. Steve Vadney, a winner of many tournaments, a past champ here in the Granite State. The New Hampshire State champ, all events. And a member of the WCBC. He's been on the tour for 4 years.
Well, let's see if Jack can keep the string going. Spare 7, spare 9, spare 8.
4 in a row. The captain looking over at the scoreboard that you see at home.
That's starting to be a little more interesting here. Oh, just catches that head pin. Wants that 8 pin to go.
It's there. It's playable. And it's makeable.
Here, watch the 10 pin. Got to come up high, almost at the 3 pin. Looks good. Oh. Tapped with that 10 pin.
He was robbed. And a 9. 79 at the midway point for Jack Ray. Jack talking with the captain. Getting a bit of advice. You can see him talking back and forth. What a team they make.
Jack, a little trouble on the approach that time. Slipped on his last step. But it's possible. 3, 6, and 10 with the deuce. Wood in between. Nice try.
Candlepin history is being made here on this show. The first time ever in the world of candlepin bowling. A bowler now has a manager. And there's the manager, Captain PJ and Jack Ray, and we'll be back right after we take a timeout. Back we come, the manager and his student, Captain PJ and Jack Ray, and here's Steve Vadney. Vadney leading in the match. He is up by 55, although since PJ
Since
and
he's
Ray,
hired PJ.
Yeah, hooked up between strings, hey, Jack is up by 22. Vadney could be in trouble. Tony Zernicke is the official, and he's going to have to move the ball. Look at this. Blow on it, Tony. Look out, baby. Anything for show business. Look at him slide. Let's hear it for Tony Zernicke. Totally mental. This show has turned into being totally mental. Oh, God. Oh, God. If we have any sponsors after this show, if we have any outlets to put this show on, this might be on home cassettes only. Oh, my God. Lord, help us. Please help us. Did you see Tony? I couldn't believe it. He looked like the opening of the show, sliding into the pins. Then he came back in reverse. Well, on the serious side of things...
What's that?
I don't know. There's a 10 box, an 85 with 2 remaining.
Oh.
Oh, boy. Here's Jack. Only on Big Shot Bowling.
Never a dull moment. We can turn a dull match into just about anything.
The high-low Jack, not anymore.
Jack's gone.
High-low is there. High Lord, whatever. Good night, Jack. Here's Jack. This Jack is gone, too. Oh, oh my. Oh, my. I'll tell you. Look at Jack. Jack's looking over at his manager.
Manager's calling him over.
He wants him. I'll tell you, what a shot. That was a spare. Spare
Yes,
number 9. Here it is again.
It's the replay, 1 and 7.
1 and 7. That was high and low.
Still didn't turn the ball over. Got a nice break. 1-7 again. High and low again.
High low. Jack hoping to get another spare. He leads in this string by 31. In the match, he's trailing by 46. Get it! Oh, baby! Baby. Let's watch that again.
1-7 again. This time Wood in behind the head pin. And PJ continues to talk to Jack, giving him instructions. It's just unbelievable, folks. I just can't believe what I'm seeing here.
And Vadney is in trouble. Well, not for the match, but God.
Well, after the night, PJ goes the highest bidder. I mean, he's a businessman, too.
A 94 to a 116 plus a ball. Vadney watching his lead evaporate.
Well,
next week, the challenger will be Barry Lang. Another quality bowler.
well, I said it would take 400 to win, and Steve let me down a little bit. He's going to be in the 390s. 393.
103. Oh, correction, 104. And a 393. Here's Jack Ray up for the final 2, working on a spare. Put 7 into it. This time we'd like to thank our director, Jim Murphy, and his staff for an excellent job. The executive producer of Big Shot Bowling, John E. Legums. Tony Zernicke, our official. And there is Bert Perangeli, our scorekeeper. And our statistician is Cheryl Young. 131 with 1 to go, and the coach and his student.
Jack just threw the towel to his manager, so I guess that means that...
Hey! The captain is excited.
Before he goes, he wants to win a trip to Atlantic City.
I wonder if he'll take the captain with him. That's 2 strikes along with 10 spares. Jack going for the double. Vadney will get the victory.
Yeah, he's going to Atlantic City before he leaves here.
There's the double. The captain hands him his towel. Let's watch it again.
Yeah. Captain touches the towel, gives it back to him. This is...
There we go.
Bowling mania.
For the trip to Atlantic City. Here it is.
Yes!
No!
Oh, my.
Oh, my. What a tough one. Great ending by Jack Ray. And his manager, Captain PJ. Captain turning his back to the crowd. A 160. Wow. There it is. 393 for the new champ. Steve Vadney, Jack Ray with a 372, but once he got his manager, he had a sizzling 160. We'll be back, and Steve Vadney will have a shot at the automobile right after we go to this commercial break. We have a new champ once again here on Big Shot Bowling, and it is Steve Vadney of Claremont, New Hampshire. He defeated our past champ, Jack Ray of Woburn, Massachusetts. Come on up, Jack. Let's talk to the guy who got off to a slow start. Let's hear it for Jack Ray. Well, Jack, a week ago you had a great win. This week, not so good. However, you came out of it all right with a great 160. You started off with a 100, then a 112, and then a 160. Between the second and third string, I hear say that you signed Captain PJ as your manager.
I sure did. He's my mascot now. He's going to come with me wherever I go bowling, so...
Here he's coming in now. Captain!
Yes, hello. Yes, we did. I chalked some strategy with my man here. Almost. He needed a double turkey or double babiyuki, whatever you call it, and he didn't quite get it. Almost. One ball too late.
Jack, if you get that triple, was your manager and mascot, Captain PJ, going to Atlantic City with you?
I would have given it to him. He could have went down there himself. Take whoever he wanted.
Well, we have a trophy from Trophy Center and $100.
Who gets the trophy?
Give it to the captain.
There you go.
Okay, that's all right.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a seat. We'll see you. Nice going. All right, let's hear it for Jack Ray and his manager, Captain PJ. They came up empty-handed. And now let's bring up the champ, Steve Vadney. Come on in here, Steve. First time with us here on Big Shot Bowling, and I'll tell you, you bowled mighty fine. Started with a 157, a 132, a 104, 393, and then that last string, that 104, you watched Jack hit a 160, but you were definitely at a disadvantage because he had a manager, Captain PJ. Have you ever, in the likes of Candlepin Bowling, seen anything like this?
Never.
Do you ever want to see it again?
No. Only if he's on my side.
Only if he's on your side. Well, right now, you got a chance to win a brand spanking new Thunderbird. You're going to go after the 7 and the 10, the goalpost leaf with one ball. How are you going to go after it?
7-10.
Go get it. Let's wish him well. Come on, let's hear it for our new champ. He's going after the Thunderbird. Compliments of Duddy Ford, Route 9 in Westboro. It can be done.
Oh, yes. What is he, going after the 10-pin? This ball, I'd say, no, he's 7-pin.
Well, he went after the 7. He came up empty-handed. Let's join us again, champ. Champ, nice try. Yeah. You said you were going to get the 7. You got the 7. You needed the 10, though, huh?
Yeah, it's a tough shot. Try to bring it off the wall and hit it right in the nose.
Well, let's talk about your bowling. Fine performance. You got off to a good start with that 150 game.
Right. Jack started marking in the last string. I figured, well, for every 2 that he gets, if I get 1, I'm still okay, no problem. And then I was looking for the 111 for 400 series, and I couldn't even get a mark in the last half for that. And then PJ was there rooting, you know. I said, maybe he's got the X on me. I don't know.
What do you think about that, Dan?
Well, all I can say is your first visit with us in you'll have something to write home to Mom about. I know that this has been a wild and crazy day. Next week, Barry Lang, and I promise, being probably the only sane person that's working on this show today, I'll try to get it back to some type of a normal situation for you against Barry Lang. We'll see if we can keep PJ out of the other corner.
Okay.
Or, hey, you're the champ. You get first dibs on him.
Well, like I said, if he's on my side, okay. If he's not...
Hey, a trophy from Girton Trophy Center, a handshake from Bob Fouracre, and a couple of $100 will be coming your way.
Okay.
Steve Vadney, our new champ here on Big Shot Bowling. Let's hear it for Steve. Captain is doing it all, and I think we're just about out of time. We got 60 seconds to wind this down, and baby, we got to wind it down.
I think about 3 days to unwind after this episode, but it's been fun, a little on the crazy side. I enjoyed it.
And still some good bowling.
Oh, yeah, some real good bowling and some good sports, too. And we're looking forward to next week. Barry Lang, another bowler, a great candlepin bowler in his own right, and he's going to be a tough opponent for Steve Vadney.
And that's how it all happens. Steve Vadney jumping into the winner's circle. Bob Fouracre for Dan Murphy and Captain PJ, Jack Ray, and Steve Vadney, and the rest of the team thanking you so much for being with us and inviting you back next week for more exciting action right here on Big Shot Bowling.